Today we're going to be reviewing final part 2 review. It will be problems that are similar to the posted final exam part 2. So do these problems for practice on your own. I highly recommend that you pause the video after the problems have been presented. That way you can try to solve them yourself and see what you understand and don't understand. So let's begin. So number 1, we have find the unknown number in the proportion. Round the answer to the nearest hundredth when necessary. And all the rounding instructions, you want to make sure that you pay particular attention to where you need to round. So for this problem, we have a proportion. We need to solve for x, the unknown variable, and we're going to cross multiply. So we're going to cross multiply x times 2. So we have 2x equals, and then we'll cross multiply 7 times 7.1. Okay, and then for the part 2 of your final, you'll actually be allowed to use calculators. So make sure to bring a calculator. So we have 2x equals 7 times 7.1. 2x equals, so 7 times 7.1 is 49.7. And we're going to divide by 2 on both sides to isolate the variable x. The 2's will cancel out to be 1 and 1, and we're left with x equals. So 49.7 divided by 2 is exactly 24.85. And now we need to look back at the original instructions. The problem states to round the answer to the nearest hundredth. So the hundredths place, remember, we have the decimal point here. This is the tenths place, and then this is the hundredths place. So it's 2 places over from the decimal point. So this is the hundredths place. And following 24.85, we just have, I guess, zeros. But we see that there's a 0 here directly to the right-hand side of the hundredths place. So we're not going to round up. It's going to remain as is. So our answer is 24.85. All right, next we are told to use the percent proportion to answer the question. Round your answer to the nearest tenth of a percent if necessary. Number 2, so what percent of 65 parakeets is 476 parakeets? Okay, so for this problem, we are going to set up a ratio. So we want to know what percent of 65 parakeets is 476 parakeets. So we can set up 476 over 65 parakeets. And we can multiply this by 100% because we're asked for the percent. Okay, and we are going to have a very long number that comes out of the calculator, 7.320766923, and I have not yet multiplied this by 100%, but after I multiply it by 100%, we are going to get 732.30766923. And we want to round our answer to the nearest tenth of a percent. So tenth of a percent. So we're going to round it to the tenths place. So we look at the tenths place, and we look to the hundredths place, and we see that it's a 0. So we're going to round down, not up, right? So it's 732.3%. For number 3, we're told to write and solve an equation to find the percent increase or decrease. Round your answer to the nearest tenth of a percent if necessary. Number 3, sales of frozen pizza for a club fundraiser increased from 500 one year to 530 the next year. What was the percent of increase? So we're told to solve for the percent of increase. So we know that it changed from 500 to 530 frozen pizzas being sold. So our amount of increase, which is the difference of 530 and 500, is equal to 30. So to find the percent of increase, we need to set up a proportion. So we have the amount of increase over the original. So that is 30 over the original of 500. And we punch that into our calculator. And don't forget to multiply this by 100%. So we're going to punch in 30 over 500, and we get 0.06 times 100%. So this becomes 6.0%. And it says to round answer to the nearest tenth. Right, so we have 6%. We see that in the tenths place, there's a 0, so there's no need to round. So I'm just going to leave it out to the tenths place. So we have 6% as our answer for number 3. Now, number 4, bicycles are often on sale in September. The regular price of one bicycle is $103.95. With a 25% discount, what is the sale price of the bicycle? Round to the nearest cent. All right, for this problem, we know that the regular price of the bike is $103.95. We know that there is a 25% discount, which means that you pay 75%, right? That's just a difference of 125%. So we know that you pay 75%. So if the regular price is $103.95 and you pay 75%, we need to multiply 75% by the regular price to get the discounted rate. And 75% needs to get changed from percent to decimal. So we can convert that. We know that's 0.75 times 103.95. And we plug that into our calculator, and we see that we get $77.96, and it says to round it to the nearest cent. Sorry, so from the calculator you actually get 77.9625, and you need to round to the nearest cent. So we're going to look at the cent, which is in the hundreds place. We're going to look to the right, and we see that it's a 2, which is below 5, so we are going to round down. So our answer becomes $77.96. So don't forget to look to the original problem to see where you need to round your answer to. If you don't round it correctly, you're not going to get the right answer. So make sure to pay close attention to that. For number 5, this is a bit of a two-part question. We're told that a telephone costs $238. If the sales tax rate is 3%, how much tax is charged, and what is the total price? Round your answers to the nearest cent. So there are two parts to this question because we're asked how much tax is charged, right? So that's our first question. I'm going to call that A. And we're also asked what is the total price? So that's our second question, and we'll call that B. So for A, to solve how much tax is charged, we know that the tax rate is 3%. So if the tax rate is 3%, we need to multiply that by our telephone costs at $238. And to make it more calculator friendly, we know that 3% is the same as 3 over 100, right, times 238, which can also be converted to a decimal. So 3 becomes 0.03. And we're going to multiply that by the telephone cost of $238. And we get, after we plug it into the calculator, we will get, so we have 0.03 times 238, exactly $7.14. And we're told to round to the nearest cent. So this is a cents place. Everything following 4 is going to be a 0, so this is actually our final answer. $7.14. That answers part A, how much tax is charged, so that's the tax. Now for part B, we're asked for the total price. So the total price is going to be the telephone cost at $238 plus the tax at $7.14. And we plug that into our calculator and we get $245.14 exactly. And again, there's no need to round to the nearest cent because it's everything after 4 is going to be 0, so we round down. So we have $245.14 as our total price. So that completes the solution to question 5. There's 2 parts, so you need to have both answers. Now, number 6 is a little different. We're setting up our own equation. So we're told that a wooden railing is 110 meters long. It is to be divided into 4 pieces. 3 pieces will be the same length, and the 4th piece will be 2 meters longer than each of the other 3. Find the length of each piece. So for this problem, it is very helpful for you to draw a diagram. So I'm going to go ahead and draw a diagram, okay? We're told 3 pieces with the same length. So 1, 2, 3, and then we're told that the 4th piece is 2 meters longer. This is not drawn to scale, but let's just say that this is our fourth piece. So we're told that the fourth piece is 2 meters longer than each of the other three. So we can set that up to be x plus 2. It's 2 meters longer than each of the other three. And we're told that there are three pieces with the same length, so these can all be x. So we have x for each of the three pieces that are the same length, and then the fourth piece is 2 meters longer, so it's x plus 2. And this entire wooden railing is 110 meters long. Okay, so from here we can set up our equation. So we know that the sum of all of these pieces is equal to 110. So we can add everything together. So we have x plus x plus x plus x plus 2 equals 110. And we see that after the parentheses, we have the following. So we have 4 x's. Remember to combine like terms. So 4x plus 2 equals 110. Now we want to isolate the variable x, so we're going to subtract by 2 on both sides. So we have 4x plus 2 minus 2, that equals 0. So we're left with 4x equals 110 minus 2, that's 108. Isolate the variable x by dividing by 4 on both sides, and x is equal to, so 108 divided by 4 is 27. Okay, so x is equal to 27, but we want to find the length of each piece. So going back to our diagram, we know that each of these three pieces are going to be 27 meters long. So we have 27, 27, and 27. And our fourth piece is 2 meters longer than each of the other three. So we plug in, we substitute our value for x back into that part. So 27 plus 2, that's going to equal 29. So we have 4 pieces with the following lengths. And if we were to add up all of these pieces, it should equal the sum of the entire wooden railing at 110 meters. So that's how you would go about checking these types of problems. And you'll see that when you do add these pieces together, you get 110. And so that's how you would solve this problem. Number 7, we're told to write and solve an equation to find the percent increase or decrease. Round your answer to the nearest tenth of a percent if necessary. So last year, Maria earned $337 per week. This year, her salary increased to $358 per week. What is the percent of increase? So again, this is like a problem that we solved earlier. This is like number 3. So her salary changed from $337, right, to $358. So our amount of increase is the difference between $358 and $337. So the difference is $21. So that's the amount of increase. So to find the percent of increase, which is what we are asked for, percent of increase, remember that the percent of increase is equal to the amount of increase over the original. Okay, and we're going to multiply that by 100% because we're asked for the percent of increase. So our amount of increase is $21. Our original price is at $337, and we're going to multiply that by 100%. But first, we're going to plug in to the calculator 21 over 337. And we're going to multiply that by 100%. So we get something along the lines of 6.23145. And for this problem, I'm just dragging it out 5 decimal places because it asks us to round to the nearest tenth. So we really only need to know what's in the hundredths place for rounding purposes. But there are a lot of other numbers in the calculator following 5. So for the purpose of this problem, though, we're told to round our answer to the nearest tenth of a percent if necessary. So we see that in the hundredths place, we have a 3, so that's below 5, so we're going to round down. So our answer becomes 6.2%. So 6.2% is the amount of increase for Maria's salary per week. All right, so for 8 and 9, we're told to find the simple interest on the loan. We have a principal amount at $780, a rate of 7%, and time in years is 3.5. So we're going to multiply our principal of $780. Oops, forgot that 0. So multiply that principal by our rate of 7%. And we'll multiply it by the time in years, which is 3.5. So I'm going to convert that to a decimal to make it easier for the calculator. So 3.5. And we're going to multiply everything together. But before we can do that, we need to convert the percent, the rate, to a decimal. So we know that it's 7 over 100, right? Which can be converted into a decimal